Welcome to Girl with Blue Energy. I'm Patty, the Girl with Blue Energy. I also have Bipolar 1, ADHD, and an anxiety disorder. And I have been successful in my life in spite of having Bipolar 1. So that's one of my inspirations for making this channel. But I still have Bipolar 1. I still have manic and depressive cycles, and they just don't go away. I've been doing the ketogenic diet for 5 years with the support of a psychiatrist who helped me to wean off of all the medication I was on. I have the support of my primary care provider because everybody watches how I manage my disorder, and I think the psychiatrists are starting to see the benefits of the ketogenic diet and some of the things I talk about in how I manage my bipolar disorder and stuff I really want to get out there because I've taken every medication for bipolar that exists before well, maybe not every single one, but nearly every one. If it's out there, I've probably taken it before I decided to start pursuing the ketogenic diet. I didn't pursue the ketogenic diet because I was not wanting to conform or just didn't want to take medication. I started looking into it because nothing was working. And the ketogenic diet has been really helpful for me. So at some point I'm going to make another video about why the ketogenic diet works. And I'm not really pushy about it, but I do think for most people with bipolar disorder, you would see benefits if you started using the ketogenic diet on a consistent basis. So today I want to talk about what to do to get back on track after having a manic depressive cycle, which I've kind of just had, but surprisingly, my crash hasn't been as bad as I was expecting, because normally when I have a manic episode that goes on longer than a week, that goes on for a couple weeks, the crash is usually pretty profound. So that was what I was anticipating, and I'm pleasantly surprised and happy to see that some of the things I do are actually helping me. So these are the three most important things for me on maintaining my mental stability in general. That is to have stable relationships and a support system. So if you're with somebody who is unstable and keeps you up all night partying and fights with you all the time, you're going to have a real hard time managing your bipolar disorder, no matter what medication you're on and what you do. So seek out mentally stable people to surround yourself with. That is easier said than done, but that's the biggest thing you can do in managing your mental health, is to surround yourself with mentally healthy people and supportive people. Two, for me, the ketogenic diet, which I've mentioned. But I say if you don't do the ketogenic diet, to be very, very consistent with your diet, like how many carbs you eat. So don't have major fluctuations. Like today I'm going to binge out meat, pizza, and cheesecake all day. Try to be consistent. I find that keeping my carbs consistent is more important than doing keto perfectly. But consistency is really important for managing bipolar. The third thing I do is I'm really religious with my sleep habits. I try to get up between 5 and 5:30 every morning and go to bed around 9 o'clock every night. Now, if I end up staying up late, I will sleep in, because for me, the most important thing is that I get at least 7.5 hours of sleep. So if I don't get enough sleep, I don't beat myself up, but my goal is 5:30, go to bed at 9. Your schedule may be different, but the important thing is that it's consistent and that you get enough sleep, because when you have bipolar disorder, sleep is one of the biggest components in what causes us to get manic, or it's usually because we're not sleeping well. Something may trigger that, caffeine use or some life event, but sleep consistently. That's the biggest thing I do to manage my mood swings. So if and when you do have a manic depressive cycle, because you're going to, even if you are doing everything perfectly, there are some things you can do to get yourself out of it. I have another video on how to stop the bipolar spinning that I still watch when I start feeling myself in a spin cycle, But the biggest thing for me is to stop the dread cycle. After you go through a manic and a depressive episode, you get in this dreaded place of, oh gosh, how do I pick up? I've just made this big mess. I've dropped every plate. How do I get started again? And it feels overwhelming. Just remember that you're not going to get everything back on track immediately, but start doing the things that work. Start today. So if you're all off track because you've been manic depressive, start today. Get up, make your bed, get your dishes done. Do what you need to do to have a little bit of order. And if you have to turn off your phone and all your electronics and ignore people, do that. Get your bed made, get your kitchen clean, or your space where you live, your living room, whatever area where you feel is in disorder, get that back in order, and it will help you to get your list done and your goals done. So that's what I did this morning. I spent a couple hours getting everything in my house back a little bit in order so I can function. And then just start over with the things that work, that you know work, the list writing, the routines, the habits, the exercise, whatever it is that keeps you stable. For me, it's routines, order, ketogenic diet, exercise. And the last tip I have that I'm just now learning is to follow the 80-20 rule. And there's a lot of 80-20 rules out there, but this is the one that helps me the most, that I've just started applying to my life, because a lot of us people with bipolar are all in and all out kind of people. Like, we are perfectionists, and that's part of what motivates us. And it's also what gives us procrastination, anxiety, and a lot of the issues we have. I have made a new commitment to myself going forward with my life, is to try to use this principle all the time, the 80-20 rule. In other words, I'm going to do perfect, manage everything well 80% of the time. And if I fall off track 20% of the time, that's okay. So, the next time I'm going to have to redo my 90-day transformation goals, because this one has been a mess. But I'm okay with that. And the next time I set up some 90-day goals, I'm going to give myself at least 2 weeks of leeway. Because when you set up these goals and expectations for yourself that are unrealistic, like, I'm going to do the ketogenic diet every day, I am going to exercise 6 days a week every day, I'm going to get up early. Like, when you set these perfectionist goals, especially with bipolar, you're going to end up getting in this horrible anxiety loop where you're like, I can't get back on track because I can't be perfect. And so to me, today's getting myself out of a manic depressive loop was just accepting the fact that I was starting over again. And I was going to make a new video and try to encourage other people with bipolar to accept themselves as a little less than perfect and be okay with managing your mood disorder in your life 80% of the time, and giving yourself a little grace when you don't. So that's my tips for today on getting yourself out of a manic depressive cycle. The biggest thing, though, for me is to just get back to the consistent things that work for me. And it's hard to do, but you just gotta keep starting over and getting back at it. So I'm hoping that I keep getting some new people to this page, to this YouTube channel. I'm really trying to reach out to people like me that have bipolar disorder, either bipolar 1 or 2 or ADHD, and are high functioning or have goals and want purpose and meaning in their life and want to manage it better. So if you like my content, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel, because I'm really putting a concerted effort into growing a real resource for people with bipolar 1 that are also want to be successful, have good businesses and good lives. So thanks for tuning in. I will talk to y'all in hopefully a few more days.